Look at this, a giant purple corn cob growing out of orange sand. Not a greenhouse, not a lab. The Sahara Desert, the hottest, driest place on earth. Experts said it was impossible. They said that nothing would survive here. They said the sand was dead. They were wrong. What you're seeing right now took 6 months. 6 months of sand, heat, silence, and then to your end, one stubborn idea. But to understand what happened here, we have to go back to the very beginning. Back to a patch of desert where nothing had grown for over 1,000 years, a place where the wind moves more than the life does. This is where it started, and what happened next, nobody predicted. Before a single seed touched the ground, the team had a work to do, real work, hard work. First they marked the land, long straight lines across the empty sand, each line measured carefully, each space calculated. Then the digging began. Under the surface, the sand is even drier, even more lifeless. Pure silicon, no nutrients, no minerals, nothing a plant could feed on. So they brought their own soil, dark, rich, almost black, mixed with compost, natural minerals, and a secret ingredient, biochar, ancient burned organic matter that locks moisture deep inside the ground. They filled each trench with this black mixture, pressed it down firmly, layer by layer. Then came the pipes, thin black drip irrigation lines laid directly on top of the dark soil, connected to a water tank sitting at the edge of the desert. Solar powered, quiet, efficient, every drop of water calculated, nothing wasted. The Sahara gets less than 1 inch of rain per year. These pipes had to replace an entire sky. It took 4 days to prepare this ground, 4 days of digging, mixing, laying, pressing, and when they finally stood back and looked at what they had built, it didn't look like a desert anymore, it looked like a farm. The planting, the seeds were not ordinary seeds. These were a rare variety of Morado corn, originally from the high Andes mountains of Peru, grown for centuries at extreme altitudes, in thin air, in freezing nights, in brutal UV radiation. A seed built to survive punishment. The team knelt down into the sand, one by one, row by row. They pressed each purple seed 2 inches deep into the dark black soil, fingers pushing gently but firmly, making sure each seed had full contact with the moist earth beneath. Spacing was critical, every seed placed exactly 30 centimeters apart, not guessed, measured, because in this environment, every centimeter matters. The drip lines were then checked one final time, each emitter tested, each connection sealed, water moving at exactly 2 liters per hour per plant, enough to survive, not enough to waste. Then they covered the trenches with a thin layer of pale sand, and stood up 48 rows, over 2,000 seeds, pressed into a desert, nothing, just sand, just pipes, just heat. Day 11, still nothing. The team checked the soil temperature every morning, checked the drip emitters every afternoon. Then on day 14, a crack in the sand, tiny, almost invisible, a hairline fracture in the pale orange surface. Within 48 hours, every row had broken the surface, hundreds of tiny green shoots standing upright in the orange sand, trembling slightly in the desert wind. By week 4, the shoots had become stalks, thick, dark green, growing 3 centimeters every single day, the drip system feeding them in silence, the black soil holding every drop of moisture like a sponge. By week 8, the field looked impossible. Tall green corn plants standing nearly 1 meter high, right out of the Sahara, their wide flat leaves catching the desert sun and turning it into energy. Then the flowers came, delicate, golden, erupting from the top of every stalk like tiny flames, and where each flower fell, a cob began to form, purple, dense, growing larger every day. The desert had accepted the seed. Day 172, 6 months after that first seed touched the black soil, it was time. The team walked into the field at sunrise. The corn stalks stood nearly 2 meters tall, row after row, stretching across what used to be nothing. The cobs were heavy. You could see them pulling the stalks slightly sideways, thick, dense, wrapped tight in pale green husks. The first farmer reached up with both hands, gripped the largest cob firmly, and twisted. It came off clean. He peeled back the outer husk, slowly, layer by layer, like unwrapping something precious. And there it was, deep purple, almost black at the crown, fading into rich violet toward the base, every kernel packed tightly together, perfectly formed, glistening slightly in the early morning light. He held it up, nobody spoke, then came the knife, one clean cut straight down the center. The inside revealed rows of dark purple kernels, so dense and so vivid they looked almost unreal. Because what grew out of this sand wasn't just corn, it was proof that with the right knowledge, the right soil, the right seed,